this time, we would like to see if there's any public comments. Larry, do you have something?
Yes, sir, please.
All right.
I appreciate all your indulgence. Good morning. We've had some discussions in the past about trying to do something with the ditches that go along between my property and the McDonald's property, the Exxon property. What's happening is they're filled in with silt. I've lived there now, I've owned Trade Days now for 12 years and 7 months. My house has flooded 3 times in the last 3 months. At a considerable cost, I might add to the taxpayers because it's flood insured and they're reimbursing me for it, which just means I have to do more work. I've been told that it's considered by some to be a private ditch. If that is the case, then I'd like to request that any easements be relinquished because I've been told that they're there and they're enforced. And we'll do it, we own a dirt pit in the back and I'll bring our own track hose up there and we'll do it. I would rather have it done professionally by someone who knows what's there, have it 811, and have it professionally done by those of you who are in the business and know exactly what you're doing. All I know is that we really need some help, and I'm asking for your support in it. I know you have a lot of things on the table right now. I appreciate what's been done for us in the past. I mean, times we've had problems with your pump station, and you come right out and fix it sometimes in the middle of a Saturday. So don't think that I'm throwing anything in a negative manner towards what's been done by Trinity Bay. I'm just asking for some help. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. And in fact, this is item number 12 on our agenda today.
Yes, sir.
And talk about it. I've been wanting to do something about this. It's just
Yes,
a matter of getting it done. Because not only you flood, North Lake floods too, but their water goes somewhat the other way, but I don't know if it's restricting through you also.
Yes,
So
sir.
we got more concerns.
We just put in a new large culvert, which now meets the state's specs there. And I've been told by Corey and by, I'm sorry, I can't think of his name right now. Myron.
Yes.
Yeah, Myron Broussard, that basically they're going to try and get everybody along that right away to increase the size of their pipes. I mean, previously, the hotel right now has about a 6 or 8 inch pipe there.
Right.
And it backs everybody up.
You're right, sir.
And I think everybody's going to have to come up to standards. And I have no problem with that. I just spent $3,400 putting in a new pipe and a new culvert there, and it needed it. It really did.
Yes.
So we just all have to play on the same level playing field, and I think that's what needs to be done. And that'll help everybody, not just me. And I'm not asking it just for Trade Days, but it's affecting a lot of other people as well.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How large area do you think is affected?
Sir?
The drainage, how large area do you think is affected?
I couldn't hear you, Jeffrey, I'm
That
sorry.
ditch.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, that ditch that you want cleaned out, how large an area do you think it's affected?
It's approximately 280 feet long on my frontage right there on the road, and then it wraps around and goes behind Exxon, goes behind
I'm
McDonald's.
not talking about the size of the ditch, what I'm talking about is how much area is not getting drained because of ditches.
Oh, God.
It's
Right now,
it's pretty big.
Under this last big rain, when I got 4 inches, the entire parking lot and everything was underwater. I had several people comment that they'd never seen it like that before.
I know,
And-
but other people also get affected by that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's where.
It's going into the hotel. Taco Bell's underwater.
Right.
They're actually eroding a road that I have by my RV park, and I've rebuilt it repeatedly. And I've tried to work with Tom, who does maintenance for Taco Bell, and they have told us they're trying to get something done through their company. Their pump is insufficient, so it's backing up, and it just pumps. So they just help the system make it worse by pumping water onto my property, and then it has nowhere to go.
I would hazard a guess, it's probably 60 acres in there. It's-
Oh, yes, sir.
At least
Absolutely.
that.
Yes, sir.
At least that answers your question, Jeffrey. 60, 70 acres, and that water backs up on pretty bad.
And we know it'll flow because years ago, before there was changes in all the board and everything else,
Right.
I asked for some help, couldn't get it, and we brought track hose up, and we spent $14,000 in man hours to dig out the ditches all the way around, including down to I-10, and we had talked to DOT, got permission from the other property owners, and we 811'd it to make sure we weren't, there's a sewer line that goes underneath there, Jerry, if I'm not mistaken, that we've had to do. There's phone lines that go underneath there. So we were very, very cautious. But, I mean, we spent $14,000 on it, and it's lasted for probably 7 years, something like that. I couldn't tell you the exact date we did it, but it's just finally filling up again. And I've spent money in a lot of other directions on the property, which in all fairness, I'm not trying to pat me on the back, but I think it's good for our community with the tourism that we bring in and the heads on beds. And I'm just asking for a little help to continue to help make that grow.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Does
Thank
it
you.
affect Whataburger on that too?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, they're high, but their ditches flood, and they do have an issue with people going in the driveway right across from me. The new driveway they built, they don't have as much of an issue, that new parking lot. They're pretty well off there, but the original driveway is low, and it does flood as well. It's the whole section right there. It's not just me. It affects a lot of people.
If not, I want to make sure that's cool. Appreciate it, Mr. Fairweather.
Thank you very much for your time.
Any other public comment at this time? All right, we can move on to our agenda. Item number 4, approve the minutes of the regular meeting held July 12th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held July 12th.
I say.
All in favor? Motion has been approved. Moved on to item number 5, approval of financial reports.
The financial transactions for July 2017 for the general fund, the revenue realized is $106,674. The expenditures were $363,299. We're 83% of the fiscal year and have expended 84.95% of the fiscal budget. For the water and sewer fund, the revenue realized is $418,476. The expenditures were $459,615. We're 83% into the fiscal year and expended 86% of the fiscal budget. And this does not include the TCDRS expense.
Doesn't include what, Ms. Sherry?
TCDRS
Okay.
expense.
Thank you.
The fund balances for July are $7,598,207. This includes all the cash accounts and the certificates of deposit.
Thank you.
I make a motion we accept the financial report.
Second.
All in favor? Motion has carried. Okay, item number 6, approved tax report number 799.
The tax reports for July 2017 for Chambers County, the collections were $30,058 with a current levy collection rate of 95.76%. In July of 2016, the collections were $53,500 with a collection rate of 99.68%. Jefferson County tax collections for July were $79 with a collection rate of 96.23%. July 2016, the collections were $46 with a collection rate of 97.49%.
Thank you.
Make a motion we approve the tax report.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, tax report number 799 is approved. Okay. Item number 7, review and consider approval of accounts payable.
The unpaid accounts payable for July is $236,746. The total accounts payable for the month is $269,523. And there's not any drainage construction fund unpaid. Accounts payable or the regular construction fund.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the account payable.
Second.
All in favor? Motion has passed. Item number 8, consider possible action replacing 2 bridges in Anwar in Oak Street and Davis Avenue for Chambers County. And I see we have a representative from Anwar right here. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We thought you just wrote over.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
We have 2 bridges. Davis Street Bridge, you'll see in the bottom of on your screen, and then one on the top is the Oak Street. The Oak Street right now is closed. under the, I think the east side, didn't Kevin? The east side, about the east side piling, there are 5 pilings, and 4 of them are rotted down and broken, so we shut it down, because school buses is a section crossing. Davis is a little better, but we've looked at maybe replacing both of them. I've got a point, I'm gonna put on the agenda for Tuesday at Commissioners Court to try to find some funds to, and I think we have some funds. We have a tax note, and there's some money in there for road improvements that I could use to rebuild the bridges.
Yes.
Jerry and I have been consulting, y'all are kind of pretty good experts at replacing bridges, but y'all replacing them.
I think so.
And it's good for help, and he's given me some quotes that he's gotten from different bridge manufacturers to put bridges in there. One thing that I was just made aware of lately was, this is not in your district.
No, sir.
It's in the city of Anaheim.
Right.
So it's not in your district. And I know that I've been reminded since I took over in 2011, the auditor, that road bridge has taxes, and we can only spend them on road bridge stuff. And I even have to have Parks Department or anybody else reimburse the road bridge fund if we're going to do anything for them. So I'm not sure what the legality of it would be for y'all to help us, but whatever it is, we would appreciate your help if you're experts at it. Whatever materials, manpower, or equipment that you would furnish, the county would reimburse on whatever your rates are, like we do when we do some stuff outside of, for anyone else. We have, I think we use the FEMA rates, and for equipment, manpower, and materials, and then also we had in our benefit package, we had that too, so that we have those rates, and I'm sure you have the same kind of rates. And we would, rather than say, okay, somewhere down the road we'll do something for you, no, I'd rather have it up front where y'all will, y'all be reimbursed for whatever you do. Now, the point is, can you do it? We would appreciate it if you could. It would be a savings to all the taxpayers of Chambers County and everyone. But if you cannot, that's fine. We understand. And it would be a matter of us taking what Jerry's given us, giving those quotes, and then we'll find a contractor to do it if the county so chooses. Like I said, it's in the city of Anahuac. The easement on the ditch is a county easement. We call it Anahuac ditch, and we do have an easement required back in the 50s for that ditch. So that's what I'm here to question y'all. If you can do it, we appreciate the help. If you cannot, we certainly understand. Go down the road and we'll do something different.
Yes, sir. What do you think about this?
Basically, I guess it would be a legal question.
For Katie to address.
Consider we do have an interlocal agreement with them. They do have an easement there, so we might have to research that a little further.
Yeah, first glance, I don't see anything illegal about helping them. I think an interlocal agreement would be the way to proceed with it, but I'll double check.
That's all I was here for, to let you know.
Yes, sir.
And also, Kevin McClung is with me this morning. Kevin has been moved to road administrator. Under the unit system, we had to have a county engineer or a road administrator. And effective January 31st of 2018, I will no longer be employed by Chambers County.
Again.
Are you going to retire?
Again.
Again? Secretary?
I will, we discussed, the county engineer position is an appointed position. And they can appoint me as a county engineer on a contract basis, and probably what we'll do.
So you're gonna kind of retire again?
That's what it sounds like.
I'm trying to work 20 hours a week now,
Okay.
Yeah,
but
right.
it's not working too well.
Well, you know too much. Probably.
It's not that I'm a good engineer, just I've been here a long time.
There you go.
That's my statement this morning. Y'all please take it under advisement with your council. If you can, I am going to put it on the agenda with the stipulation that either Trinity Bay helps us, or if Trinity Bay cannot legally do it, then we will have to go other route to find a contractor to fix the bridges.
Ronnie, if I can ask a
Yes,
question
sir.
or make a comment.
All right.
Okay, indeed, we can rebuild those bridges. And you know that the bridge on Oak Street, you can't go through there, y'all got the bridge
That's
out.
right.
Okay, the equipment we're gonna need to go in there is all on tracks.
That's fine.
And, I mean,
We'll fix the road.
we'll back in as far as we can, or back out.
Keep from tearing the road.
What I'm telling you, that road is gonna catch a beating from the heavy load.
We'll fix the road.
Okay, okay. I just,
That's our, you know, it's in the city, right now, we maintain all the city streets and all the cities in separate city maintenance. And it just, they pay county taxes just like everyone else, and so that's what we do.
I mean, our item is an action item, but I think we've already made a motion to do this several months ago.
We have
Am I correct?
to consider it.
Let's make another motion that will help.
No, I think we've already made one. I think I made a motion.
Voted to do it, as long as they pay 100%.
Yeah, and if
Well,
it's-
yeah,
Yeah, we've already
But
did it.
if we do make a motion, I think we need to include Katie into it
but I
and
think we
legal.
already have a motion, is my point.
Okay.
So that's just a sideline of Katie making sure.
That we can proceed.
If y'all made the motion to do it on a reimbursement basis, which, that's the only way, ultimately, I would recommend the court to do it, because, you know, they said, oh, we do a good old boy deal down the road, but, you know.
We'd rather not.
No, because we're looking at, you know, quite a bit of expense on y'all's part.
Yes, sir.
And then trying to keep up that expense, okay, we're gonna fix your ditch here, we're gonna fix this, that. We might be another 25 years paying y'all back in kind, and we just don't want to do it that way.
Especially
Bobby's
in town
motion was
district.
made that as long as it was paid for 100%, that was, in a couple, 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
That's fine, they just put out, but please check with the gal to do your attorney to make sure you can, but I want to still have it on the agenda for, and if, that way, if she can notify me, that, if it's okay, that I will be able to report that to the court. I will send my agenda in this morning, and they can do that, and if not, then I can say, hey, court, the Trinity can't help us out of their district, and even though we have them local, it's out of their district, so we just see what we can do.
Do we need a motion to proceed or anything?
I would suggest, since it's an action item, to go ahead and just make a motion
Something.
to say that you will take it under consideration and you're comfortable moving forward pending legal counsel's determination.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes, I think that would be fine.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Good.
I'll second that motion.
Appreciate it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Y'all,
is
say if you need us, we're available. We've been able to help some with some stuff, patching some trees, and then, I think we've done some work over at the sewer plant for y'all.
carried. Yes.
We're glad, you know, minor stuff we're glad to do.
Yes, sir.
Thank
you
y'all.
very much.
We're gone.
All right. Get you something to eat before you go.
No, we're good. Thank you. Unless y'all need something else from me, you got something else on the tip you need to talk about?
No.
I can help with? Or Kevin?
Not right now.
All right, okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Larry. Are you leaving? No, he's still-
You leaving?
Okay, good, good, good. I didn't think that. Number 9, review, consider engineering proposal and update for pipe bursting. LJA.
Toby's here this morning to give us an update of where we're at on our pipe bursting project, of where the plans are and what the schedule is to bid it and so on and so forth. And this is the engineering cost for doing all.
Sure, Mr. President, good morning, board. You have before you a proposal for engineering services for providing plans, specification, bidding assistance for $76,049. We've actually started the project. We knew that the district wanted to move on this quickly, so we're about halfway through with the plans and specifications at this point. We kind of jumped the gun on how you got started on it. Our plan right now is we're hoping to have plans ready for board approval at the next meeting, which would be in September. So that's our goal, and I think we'll hit that. Like I said, we've done a good bit of field work. We've got plant production. The guys were out in the field yesterday. They're going to probably be out again today, and we're just working towards that end. So, if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
This is what we're gonna do a third of it at a time.
Yes, sir. Basically, I didn't go to the next slide. There's your map right there. That basically we had decided $1 million, and I think it was 3.5 to do the whole town. So basically, These are the lines that are, we had more on there, but at the price, some of it had been slip lined before. So basically, you've got to pull the 4 out to be able to burst it back to a 6 or an 8. So basically, this is about a third of it, yes, sir.
Okay, now your price for the engineering, is that gonna cover the whole project or just a third of the project?
That's the engineering part.
This phase.
Yeah, just this phase right here.
That's what you're proposing to do.
And which is the first phase.
Basically, the map here, it would finish all but a little bit in Stoll, which would cover all the nets up in her area and everything there. The line behind the post office is really bad. There's some on Palm Street that's really bad, and so on and so forth. So Michael goes and the other guys input, these are the worst lines that need to be done first.
That behind Miss Fontenot's in there was caving in. That was pretty bad.
So we split it up for the money.
What about the people that are having to open their drains when it comes rains?
It'll be phase 2 or 3.
Huh?
I guess they'll be in phase 2 or 3.
Basically, what the problem over there was, Jeffrey, is the lift station was below ground, so whenever it rained, they would run into the station, and David ordered a riser to lift it up a couple of feet so the water wouldn't run inside of it. And the same day, she had problems, electricity went out also, so she had to have a dual thing there.
And that's California from my house, Jenkins, Jenkins.
That was,
No,
was
it's-
the one on,
The one we're talking about is
Dugas.
Dugas. That's the right where the station relates to.
And
The one catty corner from your house, we remember we replaced that station about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. And we adjusted that station where it's quite a bit higher than natural ground. I don't think there's any way water will run it.
I know, but I mean, they're still having to, every time it rains, they can't flush it from up.
Well, I understand that, Jeffrey, but that's what this is gonna do. The more these lines we can seal up, the better they're gonna, they're gonna keep rainwater out. They're gonna
I think he was asking which phase that was gonna be in.
That's it, house change.
Is that gonna be in phase 2 or phase 3?
we haven't gone that far, we're just getting phase 1 together, so I mean, it can be in phase 2, we're just trying to get the collapsed lines.
Got it.
But even bought a TV camera, we'll go over there and TV and see if we can find what their problem is.
Could be something fixable
Yes.
until that's happened. I know these other lines that are on priority are the worst. And we need to tend to them first. And everything needs to be tended to.
I know Tubby's here to talk about the pipe bursting, but did we ever get a report from LJA on our detention ponds?
I haven't heard, I saw Butch about 3 weeks ago, and he told me he had to get a computer, they had gotten a computer program, and he took all the LiDAR data and everything, put it together, but no, I have not heard enough from him.
I'll
So
find
you've
out.
already spent some money on this, right?
Sir,
You've already spent some money on this? You're halfway through, you said?
on the pipe bursting project,
Yeah, on this project.
we've done a lot of the work already, yes, sir.
I'm talking about the detention ponds, I'm
Oh,
still waiting on
I
that
know
report.
what you're talking about, but
So 2 years later, we don't have detention ponds, and this has happened over a month. That's pretty impressive that he can do that.
I'll find out.
Thank
All right,
you.
sir, I appreciate that very much.
so we've already spent $30,000 probably.
Well,
We paid 35,000 on detention ponds. We don't.
We have not paid a penny on this.
I know, he's already halfway through it, and we haven't approved it.
We haven't paid anything on it.
I know, we haven't approved it.
Right, but he got a start on it, Jeff. If we don't
Whenever
approve
they
it,
put it
then
together, we agree
can
that
take his
We
stuff over
approved
the
the study.
Right,
We approved his part.
Okay.
right.
All right, come on.
Okay, is there any other thing you needed to?
no, sir, unless you have any more questions.
I know you had some reports on Smith Point, that water line going down that way. Do you have done anything on that?
I can tell you what They're
Yes.
working on the environmental.
Yes,
We're working with them to, they've done all the delineations already of the wetland down that route. We are working to identify the best possible location for the water line. The difficulty we have right now, since we really haven't started design, we haven't coordinated with TxDOT and all the utilities, and exactly where it's gonna be. We gotta make the best shot of where we think it's gonna be, whether it's left or right. So when that goes to the Corps, they've got the best information possible. And so we're working right now to get them that exhibit so they can send that into the Corps and get that rolling. We did talk to Patrick, I think Jerry did, and I did just recently.
yes,
They emailed like in the last couple of days, maybe yesterday, they're trying, GLO is trying to fast track the thing and go ahead and get it processed and get it through their approval process. So we may be getting an approval on the project here pretty soon to actually start design and get rolling on it. And as soon as we get that, we're gonna jump on the thing real hard.
right, because it is time sensitive.
Yes, sir.
It
Yes,
is
sir.
very much so.
And the other thing too is there's effectively a date to have it done by the end of 2018.
Yes, sir.
But as long as what we've been told is as long as we're at 75%, 80% done in construction, that we can get an extension. Now, we're not taking that for granted. We're gonna act as if we gotta have it done by the end of the year so we can have plans ready and approved for your forces early in 18, is our goal. But if for some reason we bump up against that time and we're making progress, we can't get an extension.
All right, I appreciate that. And thinking about what Dorothy said a while ago on that stage two, we can spend more money and do this faster on this pipe burst. We don't have to stage it. Huh?
Where are you gonna get the money?
That's what I mean, it's just a matter of money. And the reason we have to do this the way we have to do
Even
it.
though I didn't mean to put you on the hot spot over the detention
No, good.
bonds, because I know you're not doing it. But I am extremely impressed at how fast y'all got this done.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you find the money.
Right, that's it. I mean, you know, we're gonna do so much, and we're gonna try to do as much as we can. I want to do it all, but we just can't afford it.
Write a check.
Right, no kidding. Okay, so we need a motion on this proposal?
We've already done that.
Okay,
I mean, when we hired them, we had a motion. This really was just a report.
okay, that sounds good. We'll move on to item number 10. Review and consider extending the existing raw water contract with CLC&D.
Basically, as Jeffrey had asked last time to have the price and the amount and everything else spelled out in the contract, so I went back to Mary Beth and got her to spell it out.
That contract should be in your package, right?
It's up there, so we read it. I mean, I read it.
It is on the board.
Yes.
And this is the same thing that we pay with CLC&D,
Yes.
LDA, yes, sir, it is. Yeah, 26 cents per thousand gallons.
it's in line with
Yes, it's the same price.
So
the,
it's not,
that change, does CLC&D charge the city the same thing?
They haven't started, don't know. You were saying today, it looked like they were filling the
The
pond.
pond is full, we come with, half inch rain, it's gonna overflow.
Okay. I don't know, I don't have a clue what Anawac's paying, but whenever Anawac drops off of us and starts taking their own, then we'll readjust their amount that we're taking.
And we're not under contract to take a certain amount.
We are right now at 25 million, but it just, they've agreed to whenever, they're gonna sell it to Anahuac or they sell it, they're still gonna sell the same amount of raw water. So basically, we have dropped it off, but we'll have to take a month or so, and let's say that we only take 18 million, yeah.
We are protected.
Yes, yes.
Right, that's what I want.
And I can go back to LNDA and say, hey, look, we need a little bit more water, and they'll adjust it.
the stop letter on the contract from Mega, that's gonna cover us on the contract?
Yeah.
The stop letter?
What?
I mean, the top letter states the price.
Yeah, 26,
Yeah, so the top letter and the contract still doesn't state the price. The top letter will cover that.
Attached to the contract.
Attached to the contract.
I believe so. This is what we've been paying for the last 2 years.
Well, I know, but I mean, you know, you're not still seeing it.
We've been able to work with them.
Actually, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, traffic was running.
Yeah.
After Greg kicked on their tires.
That's right. Send Greg down there. But I think it's just, like I said, Jeffrey had concerns about it, and it actually posted it. I think it fixed it, so.
Remember, it was a pretty good fight to get down from 72 cents to this.
Yes, sir, it was.
It was ugly,
Right.
ugly.
But we're there. Okay, I need a motion on extending this.
I make a motion that we extend the existing raw water contract with the same delivery navigation.
No, I said.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 11. Consider possible action accepting a temporary easement from Lonnie McKee to install a swing fence at FM 563.
Yes, sir. Basically, if you look at the map, we have a ditch that comes through the center of the property, the two left yellow pins on the left-hand side. That's our ditch and easement. So they paid us to put two swing fences in there, and they also paid us to redeck the bridge there. So we put two in before and redecked, and they would ask if there was any way possible. There's one on the right-hand side at 563, if we would put another swing gate in there. But we do not have an easement on that ditch, but they don't have any type of equipment to push the big poles in and stuff. So that they'd like to give us a temporary easement and install that, and they're paying for it and everything else. So while we were there, they were asking us to do that.
How much did those end up costing?
They're about $28 a foot.
$28
Yes, sir.
or whatever it may be.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Well, it's to our benefit.
Oh, yeah.
If Reed kicks in there and takes a fence out,
Right.
And biggest problem these people have is that water rips through there so fast. The state's coming there and put some concrete stuff in there to try to keep it from washing, and they can't shove anything, through that broke up concrete, and they can't keep a fence in there. So they're just
Exactly.
needing a little assistance.
All right. Got any other discussion on it? Need a motion?
and I'll make a motion that we accept temporary easement from Lonnie McKee, install a swing fence at 563.
Second that.
All in favor? Motion has carried. Item number 12, review and consider accepting a temporary easement from McDonald's restaurant to clean the ditch on FM 1663 and I-10. And Mr. Larry Barron has talked to us about this already.
There's one thing that you did not mention, if it's all right.
Yes, sir.
In actuality, the ditch that feeds into that ditch that we're talking about that comes down the fence line
Yes.
between the Exxon station and my property, it takes water from the hotel, Taco Bell, myself, and from Exxon.
I understand that ditch has been cleaned, right? Or not?
No, sir.
No, the part of it behind McDonald's has not, but no other ditches have been cleaned, so.
Mine's probably in better shape right behind my property,
Right.
but what happens is it goes into a bottleneck there
Right,
as you're going back behind.
Right.
So even though mine might look better, it still only holds so much water and then it comes out.
Exactly.
And we don't have airflow to make it drain quickly because of the bottleneck going there. Part of the problem was due to the mat yard where the old church used to be.
Oh, yes, sir. No doubt.
They
Yes.
actually, believe it or not, they're in construction, they actually locked over the only pipe that was there. So it literally would dam up there and force even more water back to us. Myron and Corey went out there at my request and saw it, and they told them they were lucky that they had a machine that they could tunnel through the culvert and get rid of that rock. They said, you have a choice, $5,000 fine, 15 minutes, or get the machine over there and route it out.
Right.
They did that, but it's still a pipe about that size.
I know eventually TxDOT is gonna increase the size of their pipes going through I-10, which should help all that north of 10.
That's my understanding, yes, sir.
Right, and it's gonna happen, it's slow, Chris, It's gonna happen one day, and that should help everybody over there.
I don't know the legality of it, but they've actually said that if something's not done by the property owners on that mat yard
Yes,
and the hotel,
right,
that they're gonna go in and take the pipes out, because right now that mat yard's not under use.
right.
They'll just take them out, and you gotta come back and meet specs to put it back in.
Yes, I understand.
Mr. Barron, if we can agree to help you out with this ditch plan,
Yes, sir.
are y'all gonna agree to maintain it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I
Because this is just temporary.
will certify that this is the only time I will come to y'all, and after that, we'll spray it, or whatever we need to do. If we've got to take a traco out there, we have permission from everybody that's on that thing right now. And we have to take a scoop out or something. If we have a bad storm, like, God, after the hurricane, I pulled a 40-foot culvert out of that thing.
That's a good point, because a temporary easement won't cover maintenance.
No, I understand that.
Right.
And we absolutely will maintain that.
All right.
And I'll be glad to incorporate that in my,
All right.
thank you again.
Oh, no problem. We have a motion on this?
Yes, sir. I make a motion that we, accept the temporary easement, Mr. Barron and neighbors between the ditch, FM 1663 and Interstate 10 in Winnie.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? Motion is carried.
Thank you very much, y'all.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I appreciate your time greatly.
Well, you help out the Winnie area too, so.
Well, I try to. The community's been good to us, and
Yes.
we try and give back as much as we can, and that'll never change.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you, Mr. Barron.
All right, item number 13, review and consider water and sewer easement from Benton Hagen on 563 near Otter Road.
Yes, sir. Basically, right off 563, there, the guy owns 3 lots down through there. So basically, he wants to pay us to run a water and sewer line down there to pick up those 3 lots. And so he's more than willing to pay us. He's already paid to have us an easement and everything else to put our lines in. So we'll be picking up 3 customers there.
Is the easement, is it gonna go down 563?
No, it's gonna go down his road there. Yes. We already have service out on 563, but, anyway, he lives in the last lot, so he would be, and if he ever subdivided it, you know, it'd just be a total mess. So I told him if he'd like to do that, he'd give us an easement, we'd run a line down there and set the meter in front of his house.
What's that one?
2 inches.
What's that?
Cost, right, how much did you tell him?
I believe it's gonna be $5,000. I was gonna run water and sewer down there, so he's gonna get a pump station, water meter, and he's paying us for the 2-inch pipe to put it in. And he paid to have the easement.
And the 2-inch pipe will be ample, so.
Yes, for 3 houses, yes.
It's 4 feet.
There's no real room for improvement there.
How long is it?
I forget, it was like 800 feet, Jeff, or something like that.
Any other questions? I need a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the easement from Benton Hagen on 563 near Otter Road to install water and sewer.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The motion has carried. Item number 14, consider possible action attending a temporary easement from Jerry Seafood for the Moody Gate.
Basically, we have an easement already where the black line comes down on our ditch. We have a ditch there, and where the Moody gates are, we have an easement on that ditch also. But that road has water on both sides of it, and we would tear the road up completely, trying to get down to it, to put the gate in with the heavy equipment and stuff. So before Ben died, I talked to him about going across their pasture there with the heavy equipment with mats, that way, just to get on site. And then we would use a pickup truck or a buggy. It's a lime rock road, it's not great, but I'd say it's got water on both sides of it. And if we walked our equipment down there, carried those sheet piling and everything down, we'd blow the road out completely, so they agreed to give us an easement where we could walk across down at the bottom of the bay just to get our equipment and all the heavy stuff there.
How many are you gonna rent the mats?
No, we bought the mats already. Basically, what we've done in the past, we bought the mats and then we rent them to them. We did that with all the FEMA projects and everything else. We bought the mats and then we rent them to the job.
How long a distance do you think you're gonna have the mat?
Basically, we're gonna move and take the mats with us as we go. So basically, it's how we plan on doing it. It's not gonna be a total deal. Like I said, there's actually a road where the black line is, and then you go over a little bit further, up from the X, there's a road there also. So it's just, we don't wanna blow the roads out.
So you got a mat across the purple part,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Just the purple part.
and a little bit of the green.
How long is the road?
How long?
I mean,
Which part? You, from the top of
The road that we've got to,
the road that we've got the easement on is a little over 5,000. Where we're mapping across the purple is 2,000 feet.
I'm worried about the road that even, what is it?
Nearly a mile.
Nearly a mile.
Yeah, nearly 1 mile. The other's a quarter mile.
I know, that road goes all the way back to
The highway.
Point Highway.
Yeah.
No, it goes back. No. He goes back to Joe Whitehead.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Or is it?
When he started white, then go back.
Where the line stops, where the black line stops at the top, that road goes straight out to the highway. But you are going through another piece of property.
That is.
Yes, it's Moody Gates, it's the last one.
I know we're trying to save the road and stuff, but what responsibility do we
Yes,
have
sir.
to repair it, even if we
Whatever
tear it?
they say, I read it right away, whatever they say, is our responsibility to repair. So it's an open-ended thing. There's no fines. I mean, what if they want four inches rock per mile?
Yeah.
And all the stuff over the place also.
I was just curious.
Basically, in the easement that we wrote right there,
Right.
basically, they put in there that we would have to fix the road like they wanted to, and I put it in the contract, that basically it says that we'll bring the road back to the existing condition.
Existing.
Yes.
Okay. That's what, that covers it right there.
Whereas it is, I just want to make sure it's in the contract.
Right?
Yeah, most temporary easement that I see, you have to repair it to the condition you found it. So
Right.
they can't require you to make it better
Not
than
above,
you found it.
exactly.
Yeah, it came to us with us fixing the complete road with their liking, and I had them take it out, or the guy and I had them take it out and just basically repair it back to pre-existing condition.
Right. That's good.
What bothers me, this is kind of an open-ended contract, and you two guys sign it, how much money is it? I mean, you know,
It's not an open-end contract if we just have to bring it back to the existing condition.
how much money is that?
Don't know yet, don't know how bad we'll tear it up, Jeff.
That whole road going down the side of that ditch is sand.
What?
There's nothing there.
There's no rock.
There's no rock up in there.
They say replacing anything with 1 inch rock.
What now?
Well,
Yeah.
in the east, be a 1 inch rock.
Right, but it also says in the easement back to the existing condition, and they said
Well,
that
that's
basically
good.
if we put rock on there, they want 1 inch rock.
Okay.
Is that what it says? Wait, while you're reading that, I have a question. We're coming in through Whitehead, do we have to have an easement on them?
As far as we know, no.
Why wouldn't we?
It's basically the only access that they have into that property.
I mean, I'm just asking.
So they have an easement already.
Evidently, Jerry says.
Justin
And that would answer
Tracy,
your question.
jumped to do, sorry.
Right.
Uh,
That was a good question.
Yeah.
How many times are you gonna have to mat in and mat out to get your material?
Mat in one time, do the job, and mat
No, that's good, that's great. That'd be the least impact on it.
And these mats have the cable from opposite corner where you
out.
take.
Yes, sir,
take the hook.
they're track hoe mats. And some of them are laminated
Right.
and this, for the lay down yard stuff, but these are actually track hoe mats that we bought.
Are they gonna pay the overage amounts?
The overage for the match?
The GLO project, it's gonna be an overage.
No, Trinity paid off the match here. And basically, we're renting it to them.
Right.
You don't have to do that if it's good, then you bad out.
What?
GLO.
I thought there was only so much money in GLO. And so, I mean, is that gonna be added money we're gonna get from GLO?
No, I mean, no, we're gonna do the project within the money, we believe.
So it's already in the budget.
And it wasn't, but
He's already saying it's already
It's
in
in
the
the
budget.
GLO money, but do we, my question too, do we have enough GLO money to build a bridge, reimburse for the mats and bill them out, and rock the road if we have to?
I feel like we do, we have $750,000 left. Is the last thing I got from Debbie, that we had $750,000 left. We hadn't really used very much material on the other jobs that we had and stuff like that, so
We should be covered.
I believe.
In
I
case
believe
the
we
worst
are.
case scenario is what you're talking about. Okay, and that's always the way to plan. If you plan for the worst case scenario, you're
Okay.
right.
It's big in mats, okay? What did we pay for the mats?
$25,000.
Are we gonna get our money back in rental on this job?
Not on this job, no. We're not gonna get it all back.
So Trinity Bay's gonna be out the difference.
I don't think we will, because I'm gonna use them on a ditch job over here that we're about to do, and then I've got another ditch job.
I'm just asking.
So I understand what you're doing.
Haven't you already had to use it?
Huh?
You already had.
We've been using mats the whole time we've been doing this, and they just rot out. Yeah, they rot out after a period of time, so,
Normal rate is $30 a day per mat.
yes.
What we charge?
I don't have it in front of me right now, but we have the FEMA rate, and that's what we charge them, the FEMA rate.
It
So
should be,
basically, whenever we did the other jobs, they were on the job and they were charged every day, so they paid for themselves over and over and over again.
this actually saves us money by buying them because of the jobs in the future. We get,
That's how we'll leave them on these
Right.
ditch jobs over here.
right, exactly.
What kind of time frame you look at to get these gates in?
Basically, we've already mobilized and the equipment and everything's sitting there, so we're hoping to put them in within like a month. And this is the worst one because there's no road there. Where the gate is, it's all washed out. So I'm gonna try to put, 80 feet of sheet piling across there to dam it off. It was the worst one, that's why we waited till the last.
This is the last GLO.
This is the last GLO other than the 2 ditches
So,
and the water line.
Tom, by November, we should be out of there.
I hope so, because
Both were
the
hoping.
ditches should start.
It just- It's extremely tight.
It is.
The road, that road going across that purple is 3 feet under sea level.
I know it's bad in there. I've never been in there, except for
From-
my boat one time.
From what I understand, what I've been told in the past, Danny's actually sunk a drag line down
Wow.
True.
That's hard to do.
Why is it that the easement is gonna come from Jerry Seafood instead of Jerry Nelson?
I guess they're the ones that own it. They actually sent me a copy of the easement themselves.
They may have
And
LLC.
basically, and we work with Guy and them, and then basically that's who they put that name on it.
So Jerry Seafood is who?
Owns the property.
I just wondering why one of Jerry Seafood, not Jerry Nelson.
Basically, they're the one that wrote the contract, and they're the one that put in there that they wanted us to re-rock the whole road with 1-inch rock. And like I said, we took that out and basically it's back to the existing condition.
That's
We're not
good.
going rocks.
Do what?
1-inch rock still in there.
I know, I mean, that's basically if we fill a pothole in or something, they would like us to.
That's not what it says, I don't think. Does it, did you read it?
I did read it. In all honesty, this is the first time I've seen it. God did not tell me about it. It does still say that in there.
Yes, it is. If
Um,
we put
the
rock
only-
down,
it
they won't
just-
run into rock.
Yeah, it does say that in there, but it does say that repair, restoration, access road, and upon completion of construction, restore access road to its original condition. That is in there.
I made them change it on purpose.
So, but I don't know what was changed and what wasn't. This is the first time I've seen that. So I don't
That
know
was
what
the only
happened.
thing that was changed.
What do you think?
If Jerry and Guy are comfortable with it, I'm fine with it. I think it's a little contradictory personally, the way it's written.
Right.
Because it does say that, that your grantee further agrees to provide additional road-based gravel. So I don't know why it says that, if that's additional to what is not there already. But again, I don't know what was there versus what was changed. So I do think it's a little contradictory the way it's written. So it kind of just depends on, as long as the parties are
Okay, but
not in agreement.
Tom, you're saying it's no rock base.
Very, very, very sparse.
So how do you go back to the existing rock base when there's not one?
Well, I think there was a picture on the board there that there was a bridge there that was washed out with a great big mud hole. So we had to put 2 loads of rock in it just to get across it to get down to the thing. So we are gonna have to put some rock in there to give us access to get to the thing, or work on it, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's all they're saying, if we're gonna put rock on it, it needs to be at least 1 inch rock instead of 3/4 inch limestone, then it'll just wash away down there in the water.
Why don't you take a bunch of pictures before you start?
Yes.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Good. That way you have something to fall back on.
Exactly.
We're taking pictures of everything as
Is
we're
your
going.
camera,
That's good, thank you.
is your camera dated? Does it have a tag on it?
Yes, they all do.
By the time you give an estimated dollar figure, what it's gonna take to fix this road, that's all I'm asking.
I'm sorry, Jeffrey, I really can't hear you.
Are you gonna have an estimated dollar figure, what it's gonna take to fix this road after we get out of it? I mean, that's what I'm asking, and that's what the taxpayers, everybody should know, what they're spending.
It's not gonna be much. I mean, it will be within the budget that we already have.
Good.
I mean, you have a dollar figure, I mean, it's gotta be.
Yeah, I have no way of knowing. I'm fixing to run everything that you can think of across this thing. And granted, some of it's heavy and some of it isn't. So, I mean, mainly it's just the sheet piles, the dozers. We're fixing the bases we're going. And we're trying to use the least amount of material as we possibly can. The only place that I had to put anything down to get in there is that one picture. And that was just because it was washed out around the jars, and I knew I was fixing to run something across it, so instead of using dirt, I used rock, which ain't gonna go anywhere.
So most of your repair is gonna be with the dozer, just, you know.
Yeah,
it
I
runs
mean,
out.
it's, the dozers what's gonna be hauling most of the sheet pile across that purple anyway.
But to answer your question, Jeffrey, I don't think you can know how much he's gonna tear it up. Depends on the weather, time, access, and everything else.
No, you're not answering my question, because what I'm asking is, what if Justin Tracy says, no, I want this done, this contract allows him to get that done, and it's $60,000, $70,000, $80,000.
But it shouldn't because of the other
Well,
clauses in
it's
there.
not that it should, it could be.
Okay, you seem to think it would.
I don't think that I agree that it's probably within your budget. Again, this is my first time reviewing it. Jerry and Guy revised it and they're comfortable with it. I don't think that the grantor can get one over on the district and make them put in this thousands of dollar gravel road. I don't think that they can do that. I now understand a little more that if you caused a pothole or something, you would have to fill it with rock. That makes sense that they have the specifications in here. So I think, and anyways, it's a temporary easement agreement. They're very routine, done all the time. So if everyone's comfortable with it, I don't think they're gonna get one over on the district and put y'all in debt trying to fix this road.
I feel good.
You got to sign it, that's good. You and Tom, you got to sign it.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll make a motion that we accept temporary from Jerry Sleeper for the Blue Gate.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. Item number 15, Review and consider resolution 1703, adopting the certificate tax roll for Chambers County.
I make a motion, on resolution 73, adopting the certified tax roll for Chambers County.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion has carried. Review and consider item number 16, review and consider resolution 1704, adopting the certified tax roll for Jefferson County.
I make a motion that we do resolution 1704, adopting the certified tax roll for Jefferson County.
All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay. Item number 17, consider and possible action adopting the 2017-18 Texas County and District Retirement System, TCDR.
I make a motion to adopt the 17-18 TCDRS retirement plan.
Have you looked at it? Need a second?
Second.
We're not changing the rate.
No, nothing changing as far as I know. I just want to make sure there's none. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carried. Review and consider setting a date for a public hearing on the proposed 17-18 tax rate of .4087.
I like the first tax rate better. I was ready to make.
I know it's .04 on the revised agenda. That was pretty low.
Yeah, 36 cents difference.
Alex just hit one too many numbers.
Sherry, reminded us that, it's gotta be in the paper for a week. So basically, it's probably gonna have to be, what, 10 days, at least 8 days from now or so?
Well, the payment won't come out till next week.
The 5th,
So your 7 days will start next Tuesday.
the 22nd.
The 27th.
Well, then,
So the 29th is the earliest day.
Jack is Wednesday, and when is progress?
Excuse me?
Or when does the progress come out?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
All the 3 papers come out on
I
Tuesday.
thought, wait, it was on Wednesday.
Late Tuesday.
Where was it, the public hearing be held here at all?
Yes,
Yeah.
it won't take a minute. So the earliest date we can do it is 29th or 30th. Is that right?
22nd?
No.
After it
The
goes
paper
out.
comes out at the
Oh,
end
after it
of
comes out,
the
yeah.
week.
Plus 7, right.
A week after it's printed.
And I appreciate it, Sherry, you keeping it straight. You know, somebody needs to keep it in the right. Thank you for that.
29th's on a Tuesday, the 30th is on a Wednesday.
Y'all want to do it on Wednesday?
Saturday.
We'll set it up for Wednesday, the 30th.
9 a.m.?
That sounds good. Is that all right with y'all? Okay. Motion?
I'll make a motion to set the public hearing date for the 17-18 tax rate of .4087 on August 30th, till August at 9 a.m.
Second.
All in favor? Motion has carried. Okay, 19, consider possible action reviewing electrical services and contract with Gulf Coast Electric for 1 year only.
The others that were set up were for 2 years pretty much. We're going through them all. This is the only one I saw that needed to be renewed.
Why don't we do it for 2 years?
Rather than one.
It's written in the contract that it was a year-by-year thing, so I agree. I'd love to have them for 5 years, that way you don't have to do it that often, but in this particular one, it said year.
Okay.
And they're not willing to change it to a longer period of time?
We can try, you know, if you'd like to. I'll see if we can amend it or give a guy and see if there's something we can do to change it.
Well, I understand their concern is the price of materials.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knows
That's
about.
not set in the contract.
No.
I think they're.
That's not, there's no price of materials in the contract.
So there's no, you don't think there's any actual reason not to?
There's a percentage on parts, so whether it's $10 or $12, they get 30% markup or something like that.
I mean, they're gonna get the money from when, same money the next year they get this year.
Well, we could extend the contract for a year and ask them for the years up, maybe.
I don't think it's not them, I think it's something to do with the water code, the way it's written or something. But anyway, that's the way the contract was written. It was for a 2-year period and then 2 or 3 1-year periods after that, so.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll look at it, it might be about time to rebid the whole thing again, so. We were in the trailer over the year whenever we bid it, I think, so.
I think you're right.
I'll look at it.
You want to table it or make a motion?
So we need to extend it.
Yes, we do.
Yes, next
I
time.
make a motion, we renew contract with, Gulf Coast Collection.
All in favor? Motion is carried. And item number 20, report on GLO project.
We've touched on all this pretty much a little bit here and there. It basically, we've mobilized, moved all of our equipment down there, everything's on site. So we're about to move in and get started. The ditches over here, they're still acquiring property. The acquisition companies made offers to the landowners to buy. So basically, we're waiting on them to accept it, so we buy the easements to get started on that. So, and they're still doing the mitigation and environmental, and they think all that'll be done sometime around November. So we're hoping to get started in November. So we're hoping to finish this structure and then move right over here onto the ditch.
Right. That's the plan.
Where's the acquisition? I got a call, and I guess the guy's probably Acquisition Services LLC, you know, the word.
Yes.
Okay. We're trying to take somebody's land and pay him for some land, but not give him access back to his 5 or 6 lots. And I don't believe he's gonna go for it.
I think they had worked that out. I believe he got with Alan Sims, the engineer on the project, and they're looking at, they think, whenever I talked to Patrick Wilshire, the grant administrator, he told me he didn't think that was in the scopes that they could put any pipes in there. He wants it for driveways. So basically, talking to Alan, they think that they can do a change order and put these pipes in for it.
Okay, did you tell Malcolm that?
No, I have not, because I'm like third down the chain. You got, the grant actually goes to the county, and it's given to us, then you got a grant administrator, you got an engineer doing it. So I would rather them tell them instead of me telling them.
Right, they're making that decision.
Yeah, so anyway, my understanding and talking to Alan and them, that I believe they can get it done. So, and then I think.
It's got James County Trinity name on it.
Yeah, I know. So we're getting, the grants coming through the county to us, with Patrick Wilshire with Public Management and Alan with LJA are doing that. So basically, I believe they worked that out.
The past week of work down. When they work out, past 2 or 3 days.
I talked to Malcolm like a week ago, and he said he was gonna come by and see me, and he never showed. And then I talked to Alan, and Alan said that he thought it wouldn't be a problem. They could just do a change order on the job, put the pipes in. He said that he couldn't pipe the whole ditch in front of his property, but he thought he could do the driveways.
Got any other information on any GLO project? Do we have?
Toby kind of went over the water line there just a little bit, so we were meeting this morning, looking at all that and everything else. So basically, we're trying, because we have a deadline.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on into drainage.
The Pecan 60 footer, we finished up on White's Bayou, up on Incomers Lake. All around, we had a bunch of levees get up against Jenkins Weir, so we moved over there to remove those. And field side was spoiled, so we can, for a short distance, and we can replace a piece of fence in there. The new FECON 30, we moved to ditch 8G3, which is north of 1663, 1410 area. The FECON 30 is working on ditch 6A4, which is south of Eagle Road on Randall Spencer property, working right up to 124. CAT 329, we moved to the sewer plant to test average for the operator position. The long reach 50-footer, we put the new cutter on it and had cut the rush ditch north of I-10 on the west side, and we finished up with that, and we moved into East Bay Biogas to get those. The D6, the bridge crews using it on the Moody Gate project. Drainage crews doing their normal stuff, tying down fences, mowing sewer plants and water plants. The three, those are D3. We moved that machine to the sewer plant also to test applicants for the operator position. And the 308, the CAT 308, we moved to the shop to put slash pressure protection on. The spray crews have, for the month, have done approximately 326 acres. They put out about 10,000 gallons, and the miles covered about 137. Year to date, we're 827 acres, about 25,600 gallons, and about 273 miles.
That's awesome.
Danny, how many applicants have you been able to train or test?
There was 4 that we tested yesterday.
There was 10 that actually put in for the job, only 4 qualified.
Oh, for the operator. They didn't run over a truck or anything?
No, we had 4 very good applicants, in my opinion.
Oh, okay, good. That's always nice to have.
How many more do you have to test?
That's it.
That's all.
Y'all done, so it's one of the 4.
So that equipment is ready to be moved
Yes,
and go back out on the job?
yes.
Sounds good.
That, I was gonna ask you, that ditch on Randall Spencer, where does that run up to, Sand Gully or not?
No, Sand Gully's one more over, but it,
One more over?
yeah.
I knew it tied in there somewhere back there.
Yeah, it comes up to 124, right there on the Tony Armatures.
Oh, okay, that's where, okay.
Just south of Eagle Road.
I wasn't sure where it come out.
And Sand Gully's close to March, close to Fairview.
Right, right. Okay. I didn't know if they tied together or not. Nope.
One more on the GLO. We applied for a $350,000 grant for on the west side over there, put some sewer lines and stuff. And I heard Friday that we will award that grant.
Where is that going?
Basically, we were looking at putting a sewer line up 61 from down around, I guess Bailey Loop is where it stops, down by White's Park, come all the way up 61 to 4 corners with it, and put some down Otter Road and stuff. So that was considered a low income area. That was about the only place left to put it.
How much was that grant for?
$350,000.
I thought that's what you said. So that's good. Good.
That'd be 2018.
Right. So we don't have to complete it.
No, it won't be like, no, it's not a part. All this other stuff that we're talking about is disaster money for Mike, and they're trying to close Ike out by 2018. So that's, this is just a regular block grant.
So we don't have it, this is not time limited?
No, it won't be,
Okay, because we got our boat loaded already.
Yeah, it'll be 2018. So basically, I think Anahuac got it for this year, and we'll get it for next year.
All right, I want to make sure that was clear. Okay, Tommy got up there.
On the drainage, that number 2 budget for more.
Yes, basically, it's in the budget for this year to replace that John Deere lapwing mower that Mr. Roy uses. We've already repaired one of the transmissions that's rusted out, in pretty bad shape, and we put it in the budget to replace it.
y'all did that last year, we put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, we did a Band-Aid on it and everything else, so,
We just did a back wing.
well, you know, is that, they pull behind the 100-horse tractor.
You're gonna replace it with another John Deere?
From what I hear, they say it does a pretty cut, and basically he mainly mows like the water plants and the reservoirs and stuff like that. So it's not heavy duty mowing, it's finish type mowing. So
Right.
this is what I was told, unless you have a suggestion on it.
Well, I'm not an expert at all. I've got 3 of rhinos, which has been a good mower. The first 2 were excellent.
Yes, sir.
This newest one, they got a smaller clutch, a different
I
kind of
heard
clutch.
it was bad.
And it's the sorest piece of junk
Yeah,
I've
I
ever
heard
in
it.
my life.
I agree with you.
It just did. I would highly suggest you think of something besides a rhino.
We were, like I said, we were talking to everybody, they felt that the John Deere had a pretty, did a nicer job mowing, especially like the plants and the reservoirs and stuff.
Well, it's got a round top too, the hay and grass come off of it, doesn't rust
Yeah,
out.
it doesn't have those traps in it.
Right, exactly, like all the rest of it. But I like it, but I heard that about the rhino.
Oh,
The
they-
engineers themselves,
They
right?
can't eat something.
Right. Saving money. Okay, anything else in drainage? Move on to utilities.
Okay, we had 22 meters pulled for non-pay this time, responded to 6 customer calls, had 4 meters changed out, repaired 6 meter leaks, made 3 new taps, repaired 7 main leaks, we responded to 90 grinder maintenance calls, 2 new grinders installed, 1 new sewer tap, 6 stoppages, and replaced 5 grinder pumps. And the construction crew laid 2,050 feet of 2-inch PVC on Hayes Road.
How come so many grinder calls?
You know, Mike, there's always a lot, no doubt. I mean,
Yeah, there is, this is a lot of
what we try to do, a lot of times these things are stopped up with baby wipes and stuff like that. And when we get areas that are like that, we send letters out to that area, we isolate it, send letters out to that area, and let the people know that they're gonna be responsible for maintenance on these things. If they don't quit putting those things in there, and they stop the pumps up.
So it's not actually equipment failure, as
No.
far as electric boards or certain, or something?
Most, you know, some of it is, some of it isn't.
People failure.
Well, I understand that.
These things, the way these grinders are designed, if they are chewing something up and they happen, the water level drops and they cut off the wire and process, it's probably not gonna start up again.
Well, repairs and maintenance eat a business up. You know, it does, you gotta be careful about that. I want to make sure our equipment we're buying is still.
I haven't been-
Like Greg and I were talking about this rhino cutter, it's not any good anymore. I didn't know if the equipment we're getting wasn't as good.
Well, me and Mike have kind of been looking at that for probably the past 2 months.
Right.
And they do have a pump out there that when it cuts off, it'll backspin some and spit the stuff back out.
That's
We're
what.
trying to find out right now if it's compatible with the stuff we already have out there or not. If we buy something and have to end up changing out a bunch of stuff to accommodate it, it's gonna get more expensive than.
It costs too much.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, at one time I had 18, 20 different fire hydrants, and I had to stock parts for all of it. I had a whole warehouse for just to repair, so don't want to get too far out there, then you have to stock stuff there.
I was just curious whether it was such a high repair.
And we have a schedule and trying to do it about once a month to hit different areas and get a vacuum truck out here to clean those areas, get some of the stuff out of the system, you know.
This new camera you got ought to help a
Yes,
lot.
it'll tell us a lot about what's going on.
Yeah, for preventing things.
Right.
Exactly.
Fire department came and got the diffuser, are they testing?
No, I don't know why they come about it, and I sent Michael here today to go get it back.
Okay, well, they came here like they were gonna start testing fire hydrants and stuff and asked for the equipment, and I gave it to them, you were on vacation, and so they didn't, okay.
Go ahead. I didn't need to.
I'm done. You want to talk about the law machine?
Yes, on there also is basically we put in there to budget, to put another rod machine in there. If not, they've got to come all the way over to Winnie to pick it up, so basically we would have, this would give us one on each side, and the last one was about 2 years old now.
It's about 3 years. had two, one on both sides there for a while, and they were really old. We bought the last one, and the one that, the last old one we had finally, went out, and now we need another one to keep one on both sides.
But it was budgeted for, for it.
All right then. Not?
Yes, sir. At the Smith Point Water Booster Station, the contractor has contacted the district engineer, notifying that he's ordered 2 pieces of equipment that needed to be replaced. He's going to get it in, he's going to notify the engineer again after it's installed, and then we'll do a final walkthrough on that project, and hopefully we'll be in with that at that time. But we don't have a date at this time when that's going to happen. Update on the CPE at the Winnie water plant. The second quarterly status report was mailed to TCQ on July the 13th, and the next reporting deadline is October the 15th. And also pertaining to the CPE, we have 2 days of training next week, the 23rd and the 24th. We'll be meeting at the Winnie water plant for that.
What exactly do you have training?
What it is, we've got to do about 5 to 6 of these training days, and whenever the TCQ came in, they felt like the operators were lacking in a certain field or something of that nature.
Right.
Then they've got a contractor that works with them, with TCQ. He comes in and he basically puts on a class and makes sure everybody understands, everybody's on the same page with everything. So it's a good deal. It's a free assistance that they offer communities, water districts, and stuff such as that. So.
Well, it does, because that way you have one place.
That's right. That's right. So we've already completed 2 of those. We've got these 2 to do. Then we've got another. I think it's going to be in September. We haven't got a set date yet, but we're going to do a filter assessment. That'll be the last training so that we got to do.
All right, that's it.
Want to just give you an update on the Oak Island wastewater treatment plant. Last month I reported that we were having some issues with actually both sides of our clarifiers. Both of those have been repaired and the plant's put back online and working correctly. Last month, lead and copper samples were collected in the distribution system on the west side for TCEQ. The lab results showed that one address exceeded the maximum level for lead, and that's what the TCEQ standards are set by. However, this is not a violation. The way it would have been a violation, if you take 20, you had to have better than 10%, or actually, so we had to have more than 2 that would have exceeded it. And we had that, then we'd have had to start doing additional testing, but just the one that put us in any type of enforcement.
So we're still below 10%?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
When we had the fine in Oak Island, and we were gonna have to pay the fine, and it wouldn't take, we wouldn't pay it to whether we did that kind of disappear.
Basically, it's still at the TCQ. Basically, we suggested to put a sewer line in or a water line in.
We tried to make it to the zoo or urban park, and it wouldn't take.
They wouldn't do that either.
So basically, we suggested putting a water line in and picking up some customers, that way we get some money back.
So it's just.
It's at TCQ, and basically, we can't do anything until the commissioners either approve it or say, no, just pay us some money. So it's still sitting there.
Kind of up in the air still.
How long does it feel like it's
I know.
to sit down there?
Yeah, he felt that we'd hear something most likely at the end of August.
I'm just curious.
Still waiting. And that's all that I have.
Everything else looks pretty good.
Yes, sir.
Tank still hasn't broken yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Almost.